I love this hand. We start with a Siphon Insight. Against red. Are you red-blue, or are we actually against... No, we're against red-white. What the? Nobody plays this card. At the beginning of your end step, you mill a card. If it was a land card milled this way, you gain life. Otherwise, you deal a point of damage. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and hit the ground with 2 Shambling Ghasts. Let's see. Yeah, spend 5, exile a creature card from your graveyard, get to create a 3/2 spirit token. Interesting deck they have. Ah, I see what they're doing. I see what they're doing. Fortunately, I don't know if we'll have the answer for them. So this is red-white Reanimator. As you saw with the Invoke Justice in their graveyard. They are all about basically trying to pitch Velomachus into their graveyard. And using Invoke Justice to reanimate it. Alright, let's go ahead and Siphon Insight here. We'll take the... We'll take the Field of Ruin. Alright, we'll play out... Play out the land. I'll attack in. I didn't bother foretelling these because I still want the option to maybe use Siphon Insight, but I think we're going to probably go for Behold the Multiverse. Reason why I wanted the option to use Siphon Insight is we do have Fading Hope here as a response for if they do actually do a reanimation. Alright. I'm going to Behold. Opponent goes for the Flash of Wandering Emperor since we were tapped out. We're really worried about those creatures on the board. Put them both on the bottom. I mean, it's kind of good that we got as many Siphon Insights as we do. Kind of want to hold Odawara. So we're going to actually play their Field of Ruin. We'll pass it back. The reason why I want to hold Odawara is we can spend for discard it, and we can return an artifact, creature, or enchantment or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Ooh, Katose is great. Since they're about reanimating, we can actually steal their Invoke Justice from their graveyard. And that'll actually take away their whole purpose of their deck. Now, they are still chipping in with these lore holds, and, you know, Wanderer and the Architect are good cards. But if we have to make them play Velomachus from hand fairly, it'll help us out of it. I think we can always potentially steal the Velomachus from their graveyard if they mill that. Let's go ahead and let them mill. Go ahead and use the one from the graveyard, since we can't double cast these because of the lands we had there. Let's steal Otherworldly Light. Alright, we'll bring out Hive the Eye Tyrant, and we'll play Katose. With Katose, we do steal Invoke Justice. Oh, they're actually also doing Valkyrie Harbinger as well. Plus Morag. Some interesting cards that they have going here. They don't actually have Valmakis in their deck. That surprises me. Nice thing about this card is it actually allows you to return any permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then you can distribute +1/+1 among any of your creatures that you have on the board. We currently don't have any in our graveyard at the moment.
Let your blade do the talking.
Still feeling the pressure from that. I'm going to attempt to attack with Kotose at their Emperor. I'm kind of hoping that this prompts them to bring out their other Emperor. Alright, let's try stealing another card. That's useless, so we'll take the land. And we'll pass it back. This is only going to cost us 3 mana at the moment, because we do have a legendary in play. Alright, by bringing this back to our hand, again, we don't have the ability to cast these Invoke Justices anymore, but we did make it so that way we can now steal a new card from their graveyard and potentially cast it. Alright, with them actually doing that, putting that in their graveyard, we could actually steal that. And if they don't play this before we choose our target and take it from them, like they let the ability resolve, we can steal that from their hand too. Alright, let's go ahead and steal another card. Kind of want to just take the land. Well, actually, no, this one's good because it allows us to bring instants back to our hand and sorceries. So, let's see. We go for Kotose. Target this. Force them to play the Emperor from their hand.
Run away. You'll be safer.
Okay, so that was the last of their Emperors. I'm going to save the mana for this March, because we can actually use March to get rid of the 2/2 token here. A little short on mana to be able to get rid of this.
Strike fast and strike hard.
No blocks. We are getting low enough that I'm a little worried about our overall life total here.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
So you return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, gains haste. Don't actually have any creatures in their graveyard. Oh, I should have blocked the Kotose. Because if they had gone for the Luca, I could have... Let's see, actually, do I have enough snow sources? No, I don't have enough snow sources. So I guess that's fine. Alright, we have to do this. Confirm 0, get rid of the token. Let's see. I have Fading Hope in graveyard, so I can play this. I can add back the Fading Hope. pass it back. Alright, we'll go ahead and give that a double block. See what the opponent does. Alright, so they actually put the Katose in our graveyard, which is something we're okay with. Whenever it attacks, you may put an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. If you do, exile top 2 cards of the library, you may play them. A very interesting deck from the opponent. I haven't seen anyone try this kind of a deck. With the, Oh, opponent! You shouldn't have done that then. Because doesn't that get exiled?
We've got the edge in this fight.
Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Only have 3 snow sources. Let's put this back in their hand. Just to slow down the opponent a little bit. Get rid of the planeswalkers.
Still have much to learn.
And we will foretell the Sot coming. Yeah, because the opponent, when they did this, when they used Luca's ability, -2, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield against haste, exile at the beginning of your next upkeep. I think we were actually pretty safe there. But we need to gain life now is the issue. Because this will kill us. Unless we can mill out the opponent, I guess. See, if we play this, play Xanathar, pass the turn, can we just play the opponent's deck out? Or maybe find something that gives us life from their deck? I went ahead and said that they can have that in play. I'd rather see it stop coming for any type of direct damage. Alright. I'm sorry, what happened here? I should be able to see... Oh, okay. The top card is the Sunstreak. Dollhouse of Horrors isn't very useful to us. It had to tap those. Why did it tap those? We don't have red in our deck. Dollhouse can add this back from graveyard to play, but we had the Sot coming, so it can stop that. Let's go ahead and foretell this. Pass it back to the opponent. We just have to hope that the opponent goes land after Dollhouse here. Oh no, I forgot about that. They had enough land to activate. We have to hit this with a Sot coming. If we don't, it just allows him to definitely add something. But it doesn't matter, we're still dead. Oh, that was unfortunate. Yep. That goofy little enchantment that nobody ever plays is what ended up killing us, because it just kept poking us to death. Alright. On this hand, we have to mulligan. This one's a key. Put the Deadly Dispute on bottom. I think actually I need to maybe take out the Deadly Dispute from the deck. Because while it is cool to be able to... why am I putting that down there? I meant to put the Deadly Dispute down. There we go. As I was going to say, the Deadly Dispute, as cool as it is to be able to play with the Mind Flayer, it's kind of a dead card without Mind Flayer. I mean, we do have the early little 1-drops in the deck, but we haven't been drawing it that consistently with them. And in order to really take advantage of that card, I think we need to be able to have more consistent draws of cards that we can use it with. Let's go ahead and hit him with the Siphon Insight right away, just so we can see what we're dealing with. Alright, we'll definitely take the Mirror Breaker from our opponent. Because this card's great for being able to create treasures with that first trigger, if we can. Now the question is, do we have a card that we'll want to discard to draw to? Actually, I'm sorry, it's may discard up to 2 cards if you do draw that many cards. I kind of like our Poison the Cup stock coming in Xanathar in hand. I don't really want to give it the land, so I think we just don't discard. Unfortunately, they do have the removal spell for the little token. Fortunately, the Kiki Jiki is kind of useless with our deck. We'd have to steal something from our opponent. Alright. I'm actually perfectly fine with them doing that right now. We'll go ahead and just pass the turn. This allows us to hold up a slot coming for any spell, as well as the Poison Cup. Yep, see, we don't want to let that one resolve. Going to go Fairwater Path. Set up the Foretell. This way we can Siphon Insight or use Poison the Cup. And if we use Poison the Cup, we'll get the Scry too. I do think it's funny that can still trigger, even though it doesn't technically have any counters on it for them. So there's no reason to like have a stop on that trigger. All right, we managed to get a Chariot from them. We'll bring that down. Now, we actually have some decent blockers. Alright, we're putting it with more Innkeepers. Alright, and they get another Chariot. So that's actually 3 Chariots out of their deck already. It's kind of crazy that we managed to go through all 3 of their Chariots here. We don't have anything in our graveyard for the Recursion, and we have hardly any of our snow lands. We end up drawing all the Shipwrecks. So Blood on Snow is not likely to do anything. I'm actually going to go ahead and go for the Xanathar. Going to risk the idea of the opponent not having a removal for this. They do have a large board here, which is a bit dangerous. But they come in with this Chariot. I think we animate our Chariot and go for a block against it. Alright, opponent's going to Storm the Festival to add up to 2 cards of mana value 5 or less from the pile of 5 to the board. Jeez, they hit a goal span. I feel bad because I'm now going to have the blood on the snow after I put Xanathar on the board. Alright, what do we get off the top? I guess the best thing we can get is like a land from our opponent. I don't really want to give them Renin 7, so we play Renin 7. We actually use Renin 7 for the token. See, we'll tap these two. Attack in, get ourselves a token. Unfortunately, the opponent will find a Toski, which will give them a whole bunch of draw if they play it. Because we can't block our way through our opponent's board. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, they're gonna storm the festival again. Those innkeepers. Alright, here comes Toski. The question is, do we go for Fading Hope against Toski, or do we just have to kill off whatever's going to get through with Poison the Cup? Because we do have 2 7/7s with Reach. I think we just bounce Toski. Okay, so block there, block there, block there. That way we reduce the amount of damage that we can by the most we can. We put Toski back in their hands, that way they don't get any of the draw triggers that they were hoping to get. Alright, just a land on top. We can let the opponent have the land. We'll use our plus on Renin 7, so that way we can try to add some lands to our hand. Alright. Bring down the ice tunnels. Opponent doesn't have anything too dangerous in play, so we'll just pass it back to them. We have the ability to animate this as a blocker and use Poison the Cup. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different targets we can handle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 7. Well, I have 6 things I can block, and then 7th thing to kill with Poison the Cup. I do like the opponent's use of the Kappa Tech Wrecker. Not too many people are using this card. It's actually a pretty decent card in green for dealing with artifacts and enchantments. especially considering this exiles them. Alright, Toski back to board. Unfortunately for the opponent, if they tack in with everything to try to get the draw, they're going to lose their whole board. They're not going to get any draw out of it. Alright, so they realize that's going to be the case and don't do anything. We'll siphon some insight. We'll take that. Siphon some more. Take Boseiju, I guess. Like, it's 2 lands. Boseiju we can't even use for the activate on it because it requires you to discard it. Before it goes to our turn, we're actually going to go ahead and get rid of the reflection. We don't need blood on the snow. That's useful. Let's go ahead and use the smashings. Do an X3 here. Now I can get rid of the... No, let's just do X2. Get rid of both innkeepers. Top card's another land for our opponent. We'll let them keep that. We're going to cash in Wrenn and 7 for another token. Bring out Eye Tyrant. And we know that the opponent can't play anything off the top of the deck, so we'll also bring out the Fable. And we'll pass it back. At this point, the opponent can't actually play anything off the top of their deck, unless we say that they can play the card. Alright. So, let's see, we block, block. I guess we let this one through, because we have to let something through this time. Use that there. Try and make it that way that one takes as little damage as possible. If they use the Kappa to get rid of the Fable, I'm fine with that. It gets rid of that Death Touch. But they did all of this just to draw 1 card. And they get 1 point of damage through. It does also now make it so that they could potentially play whatever that new card is, but I don't know if that's really going to be that worth it in the end for our opponent. Because as you can see, all of their attacks going in, and all they get is 1 damage, 1 draw. They don't get to kill anything in this exchange. So whatever that card is that they draw has to be game-changing. And the most game-changing card they have is technically Storm the Festival. But Storm the Festival, they're one mana short from being able to play. I guess they could play the land from their hand to play. But 2 would have to hit 2 amazing cards. We already know that they've gone through 3 copies of their Seeker's Chariot, which is one of their best cards that they could hit off of it. Other than that, Goldspan Dragon is technically one of their other better cards, but we already have these 9/9 Tree Folks in play, so it can never get hit. And then we also have the idea that, okay, they could get Wrenn and 7. So that way they can generate their own large Tree Folk, but it's smaller than ours. And we can always attack back and kill the Wrenn and 7 since they have so few blockers. Also, we could just, Blood on the Snow and kill Wrenn and 7. But it looks like the opponent's giving us the Salt Scoop. They did this attack and probably realized that in this last-ditch effort, we had just enough blockers to really deny them any ability to recover in this. But any which case. Yeah, this is unfortunately going to take a little while because we have to wait through 2 more of these bars going through after this one. But this is what people do when they've been beat and they want to throw a little tantrum. Just go ahead and refill my drink here. I guess I should just add some like salt to my drink so I can make it feel like I'm drinking his tears, right? Because this is salt scoop. This is also the kind of deck that we actually perform better against because we're about interacting with creatures. The worst part is after this finishes resolving, or the little hourglass here, we'll still have to wait for them to... Oh, it actually just auto-kicked them. Awesome. It's either that or they actually just finally hit the concede button. I was going to say, we'd have to wait for the next bar to go through once when it comes to our turn. Alright. This is a much better hand. I think we'll be fine with this one. I do think it's funny how we took out the card that allows us to sacrifice things to draw, and now we start with Channeling Guest every hand. Alright, so we are against Black-Blue. I think Channeling Guest is just in most decks in general, because it's just a great one-drop. Question is, are they Black-Blue zombies, or are they a Black-Blue control style deck? We won't know yet. We'll go ahead and say block. Should be a hard game, but the only thing that is good for you is not anything creature. There's another creature game on this one. There we go. Probably did attack damage. Didn't think about the fact that we block or something kind of. But it took quite a while thinking about that. Alright, so they bring out Kaido.
Powerful won't help. I'll do it myself. Thanks. I'll be taking that.
Let's take a look at what we're dealing with. I will take that. So, it's Black-Blue control? I'm not entirely sure what the opponent's doing. Try to think if it's worth using Bloodchief. Go for the Bloodchief's Thirst, sacrificing the treasure right now. I think it's better not to. We'll just land and pass. I'm not setting up the Behold the Multiverse because I'm planning on just going and siphoning some more insight from our opponent. I wonder if this is the version that has white in it. Just haven't drawn a white source. No, that yeah, because they've only hit black and blue sources so far. I'll take Lolth. Go for the swamp. We'll attempt to get rid of Kaido. Oh, okay, it actually worked. I thought the opponent might have been holding onto a counterspell or something, so that's why I didn't go for the Invoke Despair. Alright, another Kaido. Unfortunately, this Kaido will be phased out, so we can't hit it with the Invoke Despair and get rid of it. We'll go ahead and see. Since we're just planning on playing Behold the Multiverse, we're just going to pass the turn. We're not going to set it up on Foretell because we don't have a second blue source for it. Well, I guess we could always just use the black sources for the Foretell, but... Sorry, I just realized I missed your comment a while back there, Timurl, about the Attack Then Blood. That was about last game, I know. Need to put this back over here so I can see the comments better. Alright, we'll take the hit.
Thanks. I'll be taking that now.
We're going to attempt to behold the multiverse. My opponent has decided that they're going to test that talent. Unfortunately, that does get rid of all of our copies of that spell, but we only have 2 of them. And having that get hit by Test of Talent, I'm more fine with than most of our other spells. We'll attempt to use their Invoke Despair against them. This with the Test of Talents, it doesn't do anything against us. Because it's their spell. Alright, Disdainful Stroke. What am I dealing with? Counterspell.deck? What? Why? I'm not sure why they did that. Okay, opponent's doing some weird things. Go ahead and try our Mind Flayer. We'll attempt to steal their Shambling Ghast, and we'll pass it back. This will hopefully prevent them from coming in with their Shambling Ghast, because we just block against it. Opponent, no fear. We'll just go ahead and get rid of both the creatures on board. Opponent knows we have Fading Hope in hand, and we have a treasure.
I know something you don't know.
We actually need our creature to die here, because otherwise we'll lose too much life from this Invoke Despair. We are just in a bad way on the, What I'd really like to draw is Katose, so that way we actually have an answer for the Invoke Despair. Because then we can take it from their graveyard and remove all the copies from their deck. But yeah, you're right, Death by Paper Cuts. That's definitely a thing going on here. I'm not too worried about them using the ultimate here, because we don't have enough life to really warrant them being able to get the trigger off against us anyways. It's just extra draw value is what Kaido's providing our opponent. Like, I'm more worried about this token here than I am about the rest of him. Oh, let's actually get rid of the token right now. I'll pay for it. Skullport Merchants. I'll keep it. One, two, three. Play the merchant. It's risky, but we're going to draw. And pass turn. reason why I say it's risky is because they have this here with Menace that can attack in. Need to find some way to gain life. Our best way of doing it is probably to steal something from our opponent. Counterspell. Alright, there's that knowing ninja again.
Our eyes are everywhere.
Attempt to steal more stuff from our opponent. Alright, we get a memory deluge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Deluge. There's our meat hook. And I'm gonna take a land. We'll attack like that just to hit Kaido down a little more.
Head wasn't it?
Going for the meat hook just to get the life back. It's a little precarious being there. Confront the past will allow them to get back a planeswalker from their graveyard.
My will cannot be denied.
Lolth is their planeswalker, but I think we can give it back to them.
At least there is a gift in exchange.
Alright, opponent plays out Kaido.
No sister safe from me. I've got all kinds of connections.
And they use the memory deluge from their graveyard. Kaido saves itself. So let's take a look at their deck. Take the Mauling. Let's see, do we want to hold on to the Soaring City? Or do we want to play it for land? If we play it for land, we can actually use Mauling and Negate. I think we might need to do that, so we're going to put this on the board. And we pass it back. Okay. Opponent's going to animate both of their hives. We're going to let them come in for the attack first. There's nothing in our grave we're too worried about losing. We give this a double block. Going to use Mauling to get rid of this Eye Tyrant. So the opponent actually gave us life in the overall end. But luckily we don't only have to worry about Eye Tyrants. That's actually a really big thing.
Now this is a juicy secret.
And let's see, we can use Spider to get rid of Kaido. I'm not entirely sure why I'm holding Merchant back, but I'm just having like this feeling like I want to hold the Merchant back still. Should have just attacked to the face. Because I can't block this. It's unblockable. Alright, make some pests. We're fine with letting that spell resolve. I think Pundit's worried about committing to the board because of the blood on the snow we've been holding this entire time. Alright, we're going in. Because I'm gonna use blood on the snow. We unfortunately... Well, actually, no, I'll just use Meat Hook Massacre again. Meat Hook, do it for 1. We get to keep our merchant here, but by getting rid of the little 1/1s, we aren't... Oh, I just screwed up. I didn't notice that thing was in play. Hall of Storm Giants is gonna punish me hard for 7 here. Well, okay. I guess it doesn't punish me hard for 7. Because it had the kill spell there. But I do wonder what they're going to go for. Let's see. We've gone through 2 of our siphons. They counter-spelled our Behold. I'm trying to think like what draw spells do we have access to.
I got someone on the inside who can help.
Unfortunately, I can't use Blood on Snow and get rid of it. Oh, Katose. Alright, so if we use Katose, what card do we want to steal? What's the relevant card here? So we get all copies of it out of their deck. Invoke Despair? Sounds actually like a good option, because we'll be able to get rid of this. And then we'll also make him lose a bunch of life, draw some cards. And we don't have to worry about it being cast against us. Oh, we also now know what their hand is, too. So they actually are going to sacrifice this to there, but then we actually get another card draw. So yes, they get the draw from that, but we get more draw because they sacrificed. So if they go for this animate, we will block with the Katose because we're just too low on life to let that go through. Opponent is going to draw another card. I should have double-checked once when I was looking in their deck for cards to see what they had left. To know if we actually use Katose to steal another card, what would actually hurt them the most. But I guess we could always just take the Invoke Despair again, because after we cast it, it puts it back in their graveyard. Alright. Go for it again. We'll only get 1 card draw off this, but we'll get the Planeswalker off the board. We'll get rid of Eye Twitch. I'm thinking grabbing Lolth isn't bad either. We'll grab the Despair still. Let's see what's left in their deck. 2 Memory Deluges, a Mauling, a Sorin. Okay, so they only have that 1 Lolth in there. They have 2 more Meat Hooks. They do have a negate, 1 negate left in deck. So they have 1 counterspell we have to maybe be worried about. They have a Takenuma to recur stuff and 1 more Hagra Mauling. Okay. They're now getting a Blood Chief's Thirst. So they'll be able to kill our Katose before it can be used as a chump blocker again. By the way, if you're wondering why Saw It Coming was lighting up, it's because it was telling me I can foretell it, not because I can cast it. We got the Xanathar, that's great. I'm going to set up the Saw It Coming. That way we have a cheaper Saw It Coming for once when we do bring out Xanathar. The problem is we know that the opponent has 2 kill spells left in their deck. One's in their hand, one's floating around, actually, in their deck. They use it on Katose. Now, do they go for the land attack? They do. Alright, that's unfortunate. I was really hoping that they would go for one of these 2 spells instead. Because at the moment, if we play Xanathar, we're going to have to use it as a chump blocker. Let's see, we can use Blood on the Snow to reanimate Xanathar after that. They do have a negate, though, still in deck. See, how much mana do we have? We have 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we could go for Blood on the Snow. If it fails, go for Xanathar. Well, I like the idea of going Siphon Insight, see what the opponent has. We found the negate. In which case, we know that we can protect the Xanathar from a removal spell. Because they only have one more removal spell in their deck. Go for Eye Tyrant. And we'll pass. Opponent only has 13 cards left in their deck. Most of it is still land. Sorin's probably the worst thing we could see them bring out. Okay. Oop. Trying to counterspell that. Please use the negate. I'd like to use the negate, please. There we go. And because they went for the Meathook Massacre here, this actually does mean that they don't have enough mana to activate Hollow the Storm Giant. And I know they don't have a counterspell in hand because we got to look at their deck. And we also got to see their hand at the same time. Because this Meathook Massacre was not a smart play for them. They should have gone for the Hall of Storm Giant activate attack. With only 4 mana available, we don't have a single 1 mana spell because this has a ward of 3 to pay to target it. And since they had Shambling Ghast in play, we couldn't use like non-targeted removal on it because whatever non-targeted removal we had would have gone to the Shambling Ghast. And with them attacking for 7, it would kill the Xanathar. And we wouldn't have any response to it. So yeah, opponent made a misplay here. And I think, yeah, we're just getting the Salt Scoop here. I don't think the opponent's thinking things. I think they're just giving us... Like, we're both control players here. He shouldn't be mad that he's getting out-controlled here. You knew what you were signing up for, opponent. I mean, this is literally like the silliest thing, though. It's when a control player gets tilted because they're playing against control. I'm not even part of the usual control decks is probably why he's mad. Or they are mad, I should say. But the G stamps is definitely angry about this situation. Yep, and there's the concede. I think they actually changed it so that way forces it quit if it has to go through that many timeouts, which is nice because it used to be miserable to have to wait for it to go all the way through. So this was the deck idea here that we were playing. Playing their deck. I think we still need to do some little tweaks here and there. As mid stream, I did make a bit of an adjustment to it, as it was having some cards that felt like they were a little bit of a dead draw half the time. And I did think the changes did help, but I think, unfortunately, as much as I like the idea of trying to play with the Mind Flayer, because it's just a creature enters battlefield and steals something, it's a little slow and clunky. It's not that slow, actually, for 5 mana for a steal card. But if an opponent interacts with it and we don't have any way to defend it, it feels bad. I do believe that it has potential. Katosi actually is working out a lot better than I was expecting it to because of the you exile a card from a graveyard and take all the copies of that out of your opponent's deck, which means I think this might be better if we actually have some like early hand disruption that actually makes the opponent discard a card or even nil the opponent, and that way we can not only attack the hand to get the card out of the hand already for the early sake, but mid and late game sake, we end up taking out all the other copies, so we no longer have to worry about them. I do actually love Xanathar. Xanathar, whenever we got him out there, if it wasn't immediately answered, ran away with the game. And I mainly like the deck idea just because Xanathar is so powerful. But I do like how a number of things were going.
Thank you for watching the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to join me while I stream, you can find me on Twitch, the link below. I hope to see you again in the next video and have a nice one.